Iberico Lord had a good little tussle with leave of absence up the home straight, but always looked in command. And in the end, he's come away to win quite decisively. I'm going to try and dive in and have a chat with the winning owner and trainer. Nicky, perhaps we could debrief Iberico Lord first. I think this has been quite a good day, but we'll come to the other bits and pieces in a minute. But this horse, you must have been pleased with what you saw up the straight. What were you thinking when you came here today?
Well, I think your reaction would probably be he started the race looking like a hurdler, and he finished it looking like a steeplechaser.
Yeah.
So, and that's what it's all about. It's got to be education, education, education. And I think that's what happened. And he did. He learnt all the way. And as Nicky said, when he's going that little bit quicker, he's finding these. Thanks, Nicky. Well done. Yeah, he found it better to. He was well warmed up.
I mean, the one thing we knew about him as a hurdler last year from those victories in the Great Win, the Betfair, is he's got a lot of speed. He's quite a fast horse. Was it ever a question whether you were going to go chasing?
No, I think he was always on the short list. To be fair, that this is where we'd start. And he has been very good at home. Never a question of, oh, should we be doing this or not? He'd been very good. So, yeah, I mean, that was a pity. I hope Gidley Park's all right, because that would have been mighty interesting, to be sure. But, I feel sorry for Harry, because he's obviously a high-class horse. And we're not to know what would have happened there. But it's always been a good race. I mean, as you know, the original plan was for
bring Sir
Gino here, and he's been great. We are going back to the hurdle route for the moment. But actually, this has been good. I think Shishkin and Altior both started in this. They did. Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking most immediately for Iberico Lord then?
You'd love to try and sort of creep, but you're not really allowed to nowadays. You win one and you've got to, where is there another 2-mile novice chase? Well, there's no such thing. You've got a penalty. Yeah, that doesn't matter. But
you're going to have to go into something good, aren't
you? You have to. They force you to go upstairs, which is not always the thing you want to do with a horse like this. He could do with another. He'd love another of those. I know they're boring, but that's how we make them at the end of the day. If you want chasers, they've got to come through the system. He needs the education.
Okay. So you were inclined to try and do another one with a penalty rather than go to the Henry VIII or the Desert or the Wayward Lad?
No. Well, Wayward Lad round here wouldn't be the worst thing, but I wouldn't be rushing to go round Ascots and Cheltenhams with him, I must admit. I think he needs to learn a bit more.
It's been quite an important day for a lot of horses in your yard. I'll come to the one everyone wants to talk about in a minute, but Jeriko Du Reponet came here for a little paddock school before racing.
That's correct.
What was the thinking behind that, and did it go well?
It did go well. Before Sandown, for whatever reason, I don't know, because we've never had an issue with him before, he went ballistic in the saddling boxes. Then Nico got on, the saddle went back. We tried to resaddle him, we had to go into the stables. AP was with us. We had about 6 people in the box, so whether it would be better with one, I don't know, but we hardly got the tack on him. Then it was a question of should he run, should he not. The others had been down at the start for half an hour by then. And whether it was that or not, I don't know. He jumped the first well, and then he ballooned the second, got warmed up, and then 1 or 2 horses did slip quite badly on that day, and then he did that. Nick had quite rightly pulled him up. I do have him he's in the Jerry Fielden actually on Friday as a second season novice, hurdler, and staying over hurdles. He had jumped so well at home. It would be disappointing to have to go back, but all we were doing here was finding out that will he let us even saddle him. He didn't. But you could not get the weight cloth on his back at Sandown, let alone the saddle.
These horses are testing your skills of improvisation at the moment, aren't they? So we're improvising with Sir Gino and going to Newcastle for the fighting fifth. Have you reconciled yourself to the idea that if he went and won that quite well, and he's got a good horse to beat in Mystical Power, and Constitution Hill, the news is better today, comes back for the Christmas Hurdle, that you might end up with them both in the same division this season? Well,
you would, and don't forget Joe Donnelly's got a state man as well, so you're trying to not avoid clashes, but avoid them until they're absolutely necessary. Let's just see what happens on Saturday. Mystical Power is in, he's a big protagonist in this category. So it's going to be very interesting. Gino's grand. He had a spin this morning. Nico came and rode him this morning. That went well. So we're on our road.
And having been schooling him over fences and him obviously jumping very well, have you had to re-school him over hurdles to slick him up a bit?
That's still to come, actually.
Okay.
Yes.
You are going to do that this week?
Yeah, oh, we will. Oh, whether it's tomorrow, he'd want to do it on Wednesday, I would think. Yeah, he just needs to jump 4 hurdles. I'm sure that he's an intelligent horse. I'm sure he'll get the hang of what we're doing. Even if we're trying to confuse him, he'll tell us.
And you've already issued a bulletin about Constitution Hill today. It sounds more promising.
It was definitely better this morning. Yeah, definitely. We always Mondays have sort of veterinary morning. Dave Matheson, who's been looking after him since Newbury, or it wasn't really. I don't know. You know, one's asking why this happened. Was it anything to do with Newbury? I'm not sure it was really. But he's much. We're all happier this morning. The whole camp was, and he came out and I wouldn't say he's 100%, but from being noticeably lame on Saturday, we're getting there.
And there's no suggestion it could have been something that just been kind of brewing away unnoticed for a little while, is there?
No, because he had been 110%, to be honest with you. No, I mean, we galloped on Tuesday, Wednesday morning, he was lame, but immediately after the gallop, no, he wasn't.
And of course, after the gallop, everyone's thinking, "Oh, do you know, is it his wind playing up and all that kind of thing?"
No.
Is that all clear and clean?
Absolutely. That's about the best thing that came out of Newbury was, like I said, how literally clean his wind was compared to anything last year. Yeah, he said that's noticeable.
JP McManus is here today to see this horse. I'm sure he's been to see all the horses at Seven Barrows. How's his star Jonbon getting on?
He's in great form. No, really, I mean, Paddy, who does sort of guide this horse through the days because he's the only man that knows him or ever sits on him, assures everybody that Paddy's an eternal optimist. I know, but I rely on him in this case, and he says he feels fantastic.
So Tingle Creek?
Oh yeah, straight there. It's only in 2 weeks from this coming Saturday, so now we're off and ready.
Well, my further question was, is there any temptation to stick him in the King George?
That one hasn't even hasn't touched my ears anyway.
Complete one out of the back of the hand?
Well, you try.
That's my flight of fancy, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it would entertain me, I must admit. But no, do you know? I mean, funny enough, at the beginning of the year, I'd say it might have been on a part of the agenda. But I think now the Tingle Creek's the only thing we're looking at. We're treating him as a 2-miler. He is essentially probably the top-rated 2-miler in England anyway. Then the Irish boys have got to get together and come and take us on at some stage when whatever, I don't know. Willie's got a lot. He's got to spread his team out quite soon.
He'll throw something in your direction.
I have a feeling he will. And I wonder
Not quite sure what it is.
No, nobody will know. I have a feeling Willie might be guessing yet, but there's, you know, I can see where there's 3 in his pack, in his pocket. So we've only got 1 in our pocket. So,
right. Nicky, I think that counts as a good day, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
All right, we'll take that. Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.